coverage of the 43rd SCCA Runoffs last year in GT3. John Serino edges the lead from Mike Henderson at the drop of the green, but later Eric Bootsy contacts Mike Agnafilo. You see it from onboard Pete Peterson. Peterson spins, taking out one of the perennial favorites. Then Bootsy again, this time moves Mike Henderson out of the way in the keyhole. Hits by for position, but it didn't matter. The checkered flag wave. John Serino takes the national championship, his second in a row, his first in GT3. In GT3, the list of potential winners is as deep as it gets. Colin Jackson showed up at the runoffs for the first time, his only appearance in 2003, and walked away with the national championship. He's 6 for 6 in 2006. The question is, can he make it 2 for 2 at the runoffs? Mike Henderson is fast as well. He qualified on the pole in 2004, 5 wins in 2006, and he ran well here in the June National until a mechanical problem put him out. Don't count him out of today's race. And Mike Seifert is always on the list of potential winners. The 2000 and 2002 GT3 national champion is undefeated in 2006, but today's race is against the best of the best, and Seifert in his Toyota Celica will have his work cut out for him.
The GT3 division is full of past champions. As a matter of fact, John Serino is a 2-time national champion. Now in 04, he was an F-Production champion, but he is the reigning GT3 champion. Mike Agnifilo, Nissan 240Z, well, he's the Northeast Division champion, and he is undefeated so far this year, 4 wins out of 4 starts. You can never, ever count out Pete Peterson's Toyota. This is the 5-time GT3 champion. Now, earlier in the spring, he came here in the June race. He was victorious. Never count this Toyota out.
The 43rd SCCA National Championship Runoffs, the pinnacle of amateur racing for those in the Sports Car Club of America. At the end of the rainbow, the gold medal, and it's what these competitors have worked all year long to bring home. The gold medal that says you are the national champion in Grand Touring 3, GT3, and it all comes to us from Heartland Park in Topeka, Kansas. The first time that the SCCA National Championships have been held here, only the 5th different venue in the history of the SCCA National Championship Runoffs. It will be the first time that these competitors go for the gold here in Heartland Park. Hello everyone, I'm Brian Till along with Dorsey Schrader. Jim Trado and Mike Johnson will be down in pit road. Dorsey, I say it's the first time they're coming here. That brings some challenges.
Heartland Park is 2.5 miles around. It's 14 corners, but now the front straightaway is brand new. This whole area and right through here is a kink that narrows the cars down. We've seen a lot of trouble. Good passing into turn 1. Watch for action there again in turn 6. And here, the bus stop, that area is always congested.
And GT3 purpose-built race cars, they can be tube frame chassis.
Yeah, these are highly modified cars. These are real race cars. They're fast.
Class by weight and displacement, it should be a good one. Let's head straight down to pit road. Mike Johnson.
Well, Wolfgang Micah qualified this beautiful top Toyota Paseo in 4th place. He worked real hard to get it up there. He's actually from Bremerhaven, Germany, now lives in Santa Clara, California, but he's had 2nd places for 3 straight times. He's looking for that first overall win, but he's got to get around 3 Nissans ahead of him and 1 Nissan right behind him. Over to my partner, Jim Trado.
Well, Mike, down on 13th on the grid is Steve Spires. It's a Nissan 200 SX. He used to race it in GT4. He said, I have a choice to make. Do I want to go faster or slower? All last year, he developed a bigger engine to get back here to the runoffs. He has a lot of the same engine components, but Spires from 13th thinks he has a decent shot at going fast here at Heartland Park, Topeka. Guys,
come on. Do I want to go faster or slower? That's an easy question to answer. The one that will be difficult, who will win the championship in GT3? We'll find out when we come back. The SCCA National Championship Runoffs, GT3, Heartland Park, Topeka, Kansas. That's where we are today. The battle promises to be a good one. 5 former national champions in the field today. The talent is definitely deep. See the cars on the pace lap right now, lined up behind the pace car. Take a look at the grid. Colin Jackson will start up front. John Serino will be right alongside him. In the front row, between those 2 drivers, there are 3 national championships. Looking on back through in 6, Michael Seifert, he has a national championship. Actually, 2 of them. That's your top 10. Looking at the second page, the second list of competitors here in the GT3 field, it starts off with Pete Peterson. Pete Peterson has 5 national championships to his credit, so you can never count out Pete Peterson in his Toyota.
He's had a lot of trouble with the car. That's why he's qualified in 11th. I think they've got it worked out. Just niggling little problems during the weekend. You know, one time was a wire that came off. Anyway, that car's got a lot of potential. It's too far back on the grid compared to the speed it really has.
And Fletcher Williams also has a national championship as well. So these guys, very strong, very deep talent in this GT3 field. For more of the stories from pit lane, we'll get down to the guys at pit lane in just a minute, but we're also going to be able to bring you some good shots from out on the racetrack today. We hope we talk about a 5-time national champion in class. Well, you're going to get to ride with Pete Peterson today. I'm sure we'll get some great shots from him. Dorsey, you said he'd had problems with the car.
Yeah, all weekend long they've really been having some trouble. He's in 11th place. He's got a faster car than 11th place, and I think we'll get a great ride with him coming toward the front.
Well, that'll be fun to watch him work up through the field. He's had such bad luck over the last couple of years. We saw in the Open how he got collected in a spin at the start last year, so we'll see if maybe the monkey is off Pete Peterson's back and if he can get back up to the top step of the podium. Now, let's head down to pit road and get some of the stories that are developing down there. First with Mike Johnson.
Well, the drivers are on the track now getting ready, but the crews also down here in pit lane are getting ready, getting their tires, their wheel guns, everything they need in case there's a problem. This is going to be a real manufacturer's battle as well. We have Japanese manufacturers from Mazda, Toyota, Nissan. We've got 2 American muscle cars from Ford and Dodge, and then we also have the 1 German BMW M3. The manufacturers, what these guys are doing is the representatives from the manufacturers come here and they use the parts that they've been developing in their professional racing teams, and now they're making it down here in the grassroots racing as well. Over to Jim.
And Mike, when it comes to past national championships and guys who run Nissans are prevalent in this class, but Fletcher Williams, a past E-Production champion, had his hands full. Saturday, he went through the bus stop, and I'm talking straight through it. He replaced a ton of parts on his number 21 Nissan. Matter of fact, they just got it ready this morning, thanks to Ray Irwin aligning things at his race shop to get that car in tune. He was not comfortable until today, but the list of parts he had to fix, boy, I tell you what, he had to rebuild the entire front suspension, re-weld the rear end bracket, all the left side suspension pieces. He replaced the oil cooler, and the nose was like a puzzle. 50 separate pieces to piece back together to get this car on track.
How much confidence do you have in a car, Dorsey, that has to be put back together like that and then really not get to turn a wheel in it very much?
Well, Fletcher's been at this game a long time, so I'm sure he's got a good crew under him, but I saw that car after that crash, and man, was it tore up bad. Front to rear, all the way from the nose to the tail, everything was a complete mess.
I mean, lost half of the time out there. He did run the last 2 sessions, but he hasn't had a lot of time in it, so hopefully they've gotten it sorted out. We did have a problem on the pace lap. Wolfgang Mikey spun in the 15 car. He had qualified 4th, and that has dropped him back a couple of positions, but he's back in there. We'll have to see how Fletcher Williams fares if he can get that car up to the front from his 20th starting position. But the field lining up, the GT3 competitors, remember, talent all throughout the field here. 2 national championship winners on the front row. This promises to be a good one. The only time Colin Jackson has ever come to the runoffs, he won it. We'll see if he can do it again today. The field lined up nice and tidy. Starter waves the green flag. GT3 underway.
Again, a brand new front straightaway. There is the kink I talked about where they funnel down. That's caused problems down into turn 1.
Jackson on the inside. Sereno, no, has nothing to do with him, and it looks like the field, at least for now, has got through. No, I should have never said it.
It was your fault. You caused that spin.
I opened my mouth, and then we saw the problem, but no problems for the leader. Colin Jackson goes from the pole to the lead right away. The rest of the field streaming through. It was the 91 that had the issue at the start. Steve Spires, he's won the Southeast Division, so obviously a very quick race car driver. He's won 6 times this year. He's going to have a hard time winning from here.
Take a look here and see if he spins. No, he got contact.
He got helped.
Yeah, he got helped around. I thought maybe he did. Got tapped in the right rear quarter panel. You see it again right here. Oh yeah, no question about it. The Mazda got him.
This car that was behind him, no, didn't see the number. We won't cast blame just yet. Meanwhile, Colin Jackson continues to lead, but Sereno not letting him go. Remember, John Sereno is the defending national champion in GT3.
Pete Peterson was telling me these Nissans are really fast this year, and when we look at our grid, of course, the top 3 cars are indeed all Nissan.
Well, a lot of these Nissans have gone to fuel injection this year, Dorsey, and it supposedly has made the cars much, much more drivable. Look back, looks like Peterson on his way up. He's got a good move up. Humphrey doing a good job as well. Back in the battle for 5th, 6th, and 7th. See the number 76 of Seifert in there as well, trying to do battle.
Another past champion. All these guys just about have won championships. This is a tough little class. It's really, really fast. They're lightweight cars, and they handle really well. And they make good horsepower.
On board, Pete Peterson on the front straightaway. Listen to that Toyota. Now, this is a tricky bit. When you used to drive down the front straightaway, it was just down the drag strip. Now they've added that kink. They call it alpha. And that's really made more of a challenge. Peterson a bit wide.
Yeah, got wide there. Yesterday, that would have been a spin. It was that part of the racetrack yesterday was extremely, really dirty and slippery, and the corner workers have done a great job cleaning it up for today.
Peterson moves up to 10th. He's picked up a spot on the first lap.
And see, this is not quite flat out in these cars. You had to lift a little bit.
3, that big sweeping corner, and then through the very, very fast right-hander, which is 4, heavy braking into 5 right here.
And down the hill to 6 is a good passing zone, good out braking zone down the bottom of this hill.
And then out of 6 through another very fast corner. Do you think this will be flat?
Yeah, this will be flat out up through here. Yeah, not quite.
Not
we got smoke.
Dust.
We got some smoke up here somewhere.
It's the battle 15 right now. Mikey in the 15, Humphrey just behind him in the 73. That is the battle for 4th. Meanwhile, Colin Jackson continues to lead. But Black has worked his way up as well, and there's the battle that we were talking about. Mikey there in front in his Toyota being followed by the Nissan, the 73 of Humphrey, the red Nissan. And then right behind him, the Toyota of Seifert. It's a good battle for 4th, and Dorsey, as cool as it is, we had record cold last night. Still very cool outside. I'd say it's in the 40s. How long is it going to take for these cars to get temperature in their tires? They're reasonably heavy cars.
Yeah, I think by now they're probably coming in pretty good. The temperature has been ungodly cold here for the last few days, though, and it's really hindered these guys being able to get a good car setup, because the days they got here and tested were in the 90s, and then yesterday was in the 20s.
Michael Seifert screams through in his number 76. You'll look at Mikey right there in the 15, then Humphrey in the red Nissan, then Seifert in his Toyota. That is the battle once again for 4th. Mikey up to 4th, then Humphrey in 5th, Seifert in 6th. Talked about Seifert earlier. He's won 2 national championships in this class, 2000 and 2002. Like nothing more than to win another. But as I was saying about the Nissans, a lot of the top competitors in Nissan have gone to fuel injection. That's a big change, Dorsey. Makes the car more drivable, I would think.
Well, yeah, a lot easier to drive. And these cars, although they look like street cars, that's what they're supposed to. They're silhouette cars. These are true race cars, built from the ground up. In fact, the only part of the car at all that was on a street car is the tail light.
You ride on board with Pete Peterson as he looks for another national championship. Up tonight, we'll be back for more Grand Touring action when we come back from Topeka.
You're looking at 4 of the most famous racing helmets ever known to racing, but those heads under those helmets are not the Formula One drivers we know and love. They're the actual 4 children of John and Mary Lynn Serino. Now, John, how did you decide to name your 4 children after which race car driver?
Well, Nigel was born in '92 when Mansell won that championship. Hans was born when Hans Stuck won the World Sports Car Championship. Jacques was one of my favorite drivers, and he won the World Championship the next year. And of course, everyone loves Senna, and so she got that name.
Well, you're absolutely right. Everybody does love Senna, and I want to know, Senna, what's it like racing against your brothers?
It's a lot of fun, and I like to beat them.
Well, I think your brothers are going to have something to say about that.
I love that. That is awesome stuff.
That's good.
You got a little pressure on your shoulder, though, when you have those names and you're going out into the racing world. They're your top 3 right now. Colin Jackson, John Serino running second. You saw his kids, John Black, hanging on to the back of them right there.
Colin Jackson starting to loosen up. Look at that back end of that Nissan starting to slide. I don't know if he's got tire temperature problem here, possibly. Really getting loose, though. Look at this.
Let's get to Jim Trado.
Well, I'm with John Serino's crew chief, Mickey Schreiner. And Mickey, John's running second at the current standings. Any words on the radio, anything he's saying to you guys?
He really doesn't talk much, but he's in pretty good shape right now. He hasn't been in the car for a year. The Runoffs last year was the last time he sat in the car. We had a little trouble getting set up, but he's real comfortable in the car right now, and he's just going to ride for a while and see what happens.
How did you guys adjust to the varying temperatures we've had all week?
We chased it all week long. We went out on different springs, sway bar settings, shock settings, you name it. We did everything in the book to try to get a handle on this thing.
We wish you luck. Thanks.
Nicky Schreiner, a great race car driver in his own right, certainly knows how to steer the car as well as work on it, supposedly.
Man, right now, John Black is really beginning to put the pressure on Serino. John Black in that Nissan 350Z right there. It's a Nissan 240 in 1 and 2. That's exactly what Serino is driving, the Nissan 240 SX, but the 350Z right behind him. And John Black doing a great job beginning to really put the pressure on Serino.
And like I say, these cars are real race cars. They don't use any street pieces whatsoever except for that taillight I was talking about before. They're tube frame cars who race. Really good engines, good horsepower.
Black with a nice slide over. Look like Serino gets a little lockup. Black goes wide.
You see them sliding these cars around. They can do that. Cars are capable of withstanding that sort of punishment.
I mean, these cars in GT2 and GT3 are kind of like a Trans Am car.
Yeah,
with the exception of they've got a diff in the back. They don't have a locked rear end like the Trans Am cars did.
And a smaller engine, but of course they're lighter as well, and they handle quite well. I raced in this class, and it was really fun to drive these.
Neat race cars. For more, let's head to pit lane. Mike Johnson.
Yeah, I'm here with Russ Acrucci for the 15 car of Wolfgang. Now, he had a little spin, or something happened to him on that pace lap, but when he was supposed to go to the back, did SCCA tell you what they wanted him to do?
Yeah, obviously we don't have radio communication, and I think the rule is if you spin or get out of line on the pace lap, you're supposed to go to the back. I'm not sure of that rule. I haven't read the GCRs lately, but that's my understanding.
Well, the 15 car Wolfgang did actually go back to his starting position and is currently running fourth. Well, that was his starting position, so hopefully the SCCA won't do anything at the end of the race.
Now, Russ Thies right there also drives in GT3 in a Toyota, and he was an ex-engineer at Ford during my years at Ford Motor Company Racing. Been around a long time, that guy.
Yeah, knows how to turn the steering wheel as well and mash on the pedals very, very quick indeed. You look at the number 73 flash by right there. The car of Dave Humphrey. He's best finished with second at the runoffs, but just back behind him, there's the 76. Michael Seifert doing what he can, running right now in the 6th position. Humphrey right there in front of him, so Seifert trying to chase down Humphrey.
Now, you can run off the tires on these cars. We'll have to watch that as this race goes on. You can definitely run out of tire before that 18th and final lap.
Humphrey in his Nissan, Seifert in his Toyota. You look just a little bit further back. The battle continues in GT3. On board with Pete Peterson. The GT3 battle continues. Who will take home the gold? We'll find out. Stick with us and make sure you come back. The SCCA National Championship Runoffs. It's where everybody comes to put the period on the end of their season and try to claim the gold medal, the national championship in the SCCA amateur classes of racing. Today, it's Grand Touring 3 from Heartland Park in Topeka, Kansas. Had a great battle up front between Colin Jackson and John Serino. And now Wolfgang Mackey on pit road. Mike Johnson.
Well, I think we got our answer from SCCA as Wolfgang Mackey I guess we got a black flag, right? Wolfgang, did you get a black flag? Is that why you're in?
Yes, I got a black flag on whatever lap here, and I don't understand why or what this is all about. And anyway.
Are you allowed to go back out and continue the race, or you just figured, well, if I'm getting a black flag, I can't win, so park it?
Well, I'd like to have an explanation why they gave me a black flag. You know, I don't know any reason why this is coming about, but I'm sure the SCCA deals with everything in a proper manner.
Well, we were told that something happened on the pace lap. Maybe you had some contact, maybe a spin or something, or maybe you're supposed to start in the back and you came back to fourth.
I did spin out and resumed my position, but they should have given me a flag at the beginning or at second pace lap. So I don't understand why this is now.
All right, well, race is over for Wolfgang, and he's going to talk it to the SCCA.
And a problem for Pete Peterson. Bad luck again. That's down in turn 1. He's had a problem down there, Dorsey.
Pete had come from 11th up to 7th place, but now it's spun in turn 1, as you say. It's not been a good weekend for Pete. He has not had a lot of track time because of all these problems we talked about. We'll take a look real time on board, see what happens here. Slick flag, you just saw it right there. There's oil. See this oil slick?
Oh, yeah.
He's in oil.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a big oil flag right there, and I saw the oil on the racetrack.
That got ugly just about the time he went to the brakes. Really nothing he could do. That is not where you want to see an oil flag. Not that you ever want to see one.
That's blind, actually.
Yep.
As you come up over the brow of that hill, it's a total blind corner, and he didn't have any time to see that flag and get off of that oil.
Well, if Pete Peterson had a problem there, you got to think that others could be caught up in it as well. And the other question is, if that's where the oil started, where does it end?
Yeah, and what caused it? Where's
exactly.
Where's the source at? Because that was a big swath of oil that was down there.
Hopefully the car that had the problem has pulled off, but that remains to be seen.
There's your oil flag, and that's advising the drivers. It's an advisory flag that there's debris or oil on that surface. Now again, you approach that blind. There's another one over here that you can see.
Or is that the standing yellow for the car that's off?
And of course, somebody's blowing an engine here or something. This is where the spins start, and that is oil related.
Getting a report that it's the 34 car, Dennis Marshall, that had the problem.
Well, it's too late.
You got to be faster than that.
Yeah, no.
These cars are fast, remember?
Yeah.
You got to be faster than that.
I saw the oil, though. I did see it.
Peterson back underway. He hasn't damaged his car, I don't think, but maybe a flat spot up there on the left front, Dorsey. I saw some smoke off of it when he came into the braking. As I said, understanding the 34 of Dennis Marshall is off the course with an engine problem, so perhaps Dennis Marshall is the car that laid down the oil there in turn one.
Yeah, it was a pretty good amount of oil that was in a straight line there.
Well, as Pete Peterson tries to recover from his bad luck, you ride on board with it. He runs 8th right now. Colin Jackson continues to lead. John Serino and Humphrey. That is your top 3. The SCCA National Championship Runoffs GT3 competition coming at you today from Heartland Park in Topeka, Kansas. Colin Jackson continues to lead, then John Serino. But right here, the battle for 10th.
Pretty good battle going on for 10th place right now. Trying to set up for the pop to the inside. This is the bus stop. Oh, a little wiggle under braking, and they're side by side.
That is the 99 and the 81. The 99 being driven by Larry Hansen. Having a great battle right now, trying to get past the 81 of Jeff Scoville. A good battle there.
Scoville trying some unique lines, trying to find a way around either side.
Great battle, and that really was not for position, I don't think. Scoville up in 11th, and the 99 was there in 9th. So Tom Thrash, who was involved in that battle, has cleared it. So maybe as timing and scoring cycles through, we'll exactly find out where they're running right now. But a good battle nonetheless. Scoville in the 81, trying to get the position back from Larry Hansen. Scoville in another one of those Nissans. Hansen in a Nissan as well, but he's in the 350ZX. And a great battle. He's coming back on him in 3 there, Dorsey.
Battle's not over for sure. That's a really good looking Nissan on the front one. I like the good paint. Oh, and onto the inside. That's a good move.
Great move by Scoville. Now, does Hansen have anything for him? These two have been switching positions back and forth over the last lap. That is the 240Z or 240SX in front of him, and then the 350Z back behind him. The difference in aerodynamics, I would think there, Dorsey, is going to have something to do with that as well.
He did that pass right there where all that oil was, too, which was amazing. I guess it's probably been run through enough now that it's not
going to run in by now, I would think. The 99, Larry Hansen, beginning to drop back just a little bit from Jeff Scoville and his 240SX. Scoville a big slide through there, though.
Yeah, I think once Scoville got around it, you know, he's the faster of the two cars. He's just going to run away now.
Look at
There's old Pete Peterson. He's trying to catch back up again now after going through the oil and having the spin.
This is out the back of Peterson's Toyota. 5 times Pete Peterson has won the national championship. Look how twisty this is. That's that 10, 11, 12, 13, and 14 complex.
Onto the front straightaway.
See the car right behind him trying to put pressure on him, but that is not for position. It's the 99 of Hansen who is the next car in the order. So Peterson beginning to work through some lap traffic, bringing the car down into turn 1. See the smoke off the front there, Dorsey?
He's had the first session of the weekend. They had a fuel injection wire come off, and the car parked after 2 laps. And then the next time they went out, the gearbox failed. They couldn't get the thing to shift, and Don Pressner went to work on it and got that fixed. There's a pass right there.
Out the back of Pete Peterson's car, the green car behind him is for position. That is the number 20 of Mike Agnafilo. Agnafilo has moved up past that battle that we were looking at before, the 99 of Hansen. So Agnafilo on his way up to the front, as is the 81 of Jeff Scoville. So Hansen dropping back, those two cars moving forward. Good run here. Peterson just seems to be dropping back a little bit, Dorsey. I mean, the car seems to be running okay, but when you look at the lap times, just doesn't really have the pace.
No,
he needs the pace of the leaders.
He hasn't had, he hadn't been on game all weekend long. I mean, he hasn't had any good sessions at all that showed that he had the speed that these Nissans do.
You ride on board the Toyota of Pete Peterson from the SCCA National Championship Runoffs. Colin Jackson looking to make it 2 in a row. GT3 National Championship battle from Heartland Park, Topeka at the drop of the green. Colin Jackson leads down into turn 1. Had a little excitement back in the pack as the field streams through turn 1 and 2.
And there's the oil, and there's Pete Peterson as you ride on board, going for a good loop.
Peterson's bad luck continues as he spins on the oil. How about another look? I'm sure he has flat spotted those tires, but he gets back into competition, and he's currently running in the 7th position. But this man out front, Colin Jackson, I said 2 in a row, not 2 years in a row, but 2 runoffs in a row for him. He won it in 2003, hasn't been back to the runoff since then. So if he can win it today, both times he's been to the runoffs, he would have won the national championship. That's not bad.
The car looks really good too. Look at, puts it through its paces. It looks like it's on a rail. Not too much sliding around. He was sliding early in the race. It looks like it's come. The chassis come back to him a little bit.
Well, John Serino has dropped some 8 seconds behind, so right now Colin Jackson having everything his way, and he's using every bit of racetrack.
Yeah, you got to watch that turning in with the right rear wheel in the dirt. That'll spin you out for sure.
Jackson obviously holding nothing back. He's actually turning the same lap times, pretty much the same lap times as John Serino. Serino was actually faster that last lap, but I would assume that they must have gotten caught in traffic or something to get that 8-second lead that Colin Jackson has been able to build here over 10 laps of competition. 10 laps in the books as he crosses the line, 11 laps in the books for Colin Jackson. 7 laps away from another national championship. Now that was a great move right there.
Fletcher Williams, we talked about the big crash he had earlier in the day. You saw him wave him by. He knew that was the leader coming to put him a lap down. Instead of trying to contest it, he said, go on by. I'm not running that well today.
This is the SCCA National Championships for amateur racing, but that was a very professional move on the part of Fletcher Williams. Like you said, Dorsey, saw him coming, didn't want to get in the way, and pointed him by. Very, very professional move.
Yeah, Fletcher's car was just literally cut in half. And, I mean, it's a miracle they got that thing put back together so he can even run. And you got to assume it's probably not 100%.
Well, you would think so. He's running back at 18th right now, and Fletcher Williams, national champion in 1991 in E-Production, certainly knows how to push the pedals in a car. So you got to believe it's just not the way it needs to be. But for Colin Jackson, the car running flawlessly right now, it would seem. From the drop of the green, he has not looked back. He's led from the drop of the green. Can he go flag to flag? We'll find out here from Heartland Park, Topeka, Kansas. It looks like that Nissan very, very well set up for this racetrack, Dorsey. It looks like it's on rails.
Yeah, he really is driving the wheels off the car, too. We saw that last lap. He likes sliding it around right about this area where he goes through the bus stop, and it gets real twisty on this end of the racetrack. He likes sliding that car around.
Jackson won his Northern Pacific division. Looking back through the field a little bit, this is the battle for 16th. The 44 of Mark Ward holds the position right now, actually is in 15th position. Spires right behind him, trying to take it away. Good battle through 1 and 2. Saw the 44 of Ward. That is one of the Toyota Paseos that's in the field, and then the 71 behind him.
When they redid
the 91,
when they redid the front straightaway and got it off the old drag strip, they also changed turn 1 and 2, and they opened it up, and now it's a much more user-friendly turn 1 and 2. Before it was just like a stop corner, and you just couldn't do any speed at all. Now it's a much better situation.
This is another one of those Nissan and Toyota battles. The 44 of Ward is the Toyota Paseo, and then the 91 of Spires is the Nissan 200 SX. So once again, we talked about it at the beginning of the show, manufacturers battles, and they are big into this. They love having these national championships go to their mark, and both Nissan and Toyota do a lot for their competitors to try to make sure give them as much help as they can.
They always have, too. You know, before it was Nissan, it was Datsun. When I used to run the Datsuns, there's a Datsun tent or a Nissan tent, there's a Toyota tent, and there's also a Honda tent. And if you have that mark of car, you go under the tent, you get free parts for this weekend. They try to help you out with anything technical that we need to. Pretty neat deal.
Very neat deal. That's one of the things that makes the SCCA National Championship runoffs so good. Colin Jackson continues to lead, looking for his second national championship in GT3.
As a manufacturer, Mazda allows a number of their teams to come under one umbrella. They may race in different classes, but indeed, there's quite a representation here. One of the most storied cars, perhaps, is this one that John Mills gets to drive. This RX-3 has certainly seen its share of laps, hasn't it?
Oh, yes, it's a great car. It has a 30-plus year history. It's an old IMSA RS car. It was actually driven the third at the runoffs in 1983 with Ron Tamborine driving. I finished 8th in it last year, which is a great thing I'm proud of. That you know, it's truly a testament to the type of vehicle that Mazda builds. Ron currently drives a GT2 powered rotary Miata, and I am building a GT3 powered rotary Miata and following his footsteps, and that car hopefully will debut next year.
Well, John hopes to bring a new piece here to the runoffs. Don't be surprised if you see this very race car back at the runoffs next year.
And oh yeah, by the way, there's a Mazda tent too.
Yeah, you forgot about
the Mazda tent. Sorry, Mazda.
John Mills running right now in that Mazda in 13th, so he's having a good run for the day. And the thing that's good about it is he's having lots of fun as well. Doing battle right now. That's Ward right behind him in the 44 car. We were talking about Mark Ward. Yep, side by side. Oh, that's the 91. Trying to get through the 91 of Steve Spires. Great battle. Remember, Spires and Ward were having a great battle a little while earlier, so now they're beginning to pick up positions. Let's take a look. This is Mark Ward as he tries to get past Mills. That's coming out of 3, Dorsey into 4, I believe.
Yeah, kind of leaves the door wide open. I don't know if he realized the 44 was coming that quickly or whatever, but... And then this on the back straightaway that we were just watching.
This is the 91. Steve Spires trying to work his way past, and that's just a classic out-braking maneuver into the bus stop.
Yeah, he used a 3-car draft and just popped out and got it done.
Mills holding on to that GT3 Moss, and look at this battle. It's been raging back and forth. Spires now past Ward as they head down to 1.
Spires set that up perfectly up the straightaway. Now they're down into 1, but he had the pass was made clean well before that. A little tire lockup
on both of them. Ward looking back, trying to come back, and you got to think maybe one of these cars stronger in one area, the other stronger in another. We saw Ward before. It looked like he might have the handling. The Spires definitely had good straight line speed. Now the battle for 4th. That is the 76 of Michael Seifert there, the Toyota right in front, and right behind him as they come across the line, the 12 of Henderson looking down into 1. No.
Couldn't do it. Couldn't get it done.
Could you go side by side and get it done on the outside in 1? I don't think so.
I don't think so. Well, at least yesterday, we surely didn't have enough grip over there to make that work. We saw a lot of spins yesterday, but like I said, the corner workers that work here did a great job cleaning everything up, and today's racetrack's pretty good.
Great battle. Let's head down to pit road and Jim Trado.
And Marty Schwarter is actually here with Toyota helping out Michael Seifert, who's got his hands full out there. What's he saying on the radio?
Well, he doesn't say a lot on the radio, but I think he does definitely have his hands full. He went from about a 3-second spread between him and the guy behind him, and now he's right on his butt.
Now talk about how Toyota helps out these guys. I mean, you're here supporting Michael, but he's already a 2-time champ. How much help does he need?
Well, Michael's a heck of a race car driver, and he, unfortunately, this year, with it moving from Ohio, he wasn't able to bring his support with him. So he asked if we'd lend a hand, and that's why I'm here. I'm actually here with all 5 of our Toyota drivers, and Michael right now is waving the banner for us.
Doing a great job doing that, guys. Again, just another way the manufacturers get involved with this class.
And that's really, really helpful. When you come here as an independent and you've got somebody from Toyota helping you out, you know, they help you out with technical issues. They help you out with parts. If you have problems, in fact, we saw one of the Nissan guys the other day with a transmission that broke. And of course, those transmissions on some of these cars are pretty old. And the people from Nissan actually shipped in the parts so he could put that thing back together, and they were free.
Seifert continuing to hold on to fourth. Now on board right now with Pete Peterson. Peterson, we talked about him trying to overcome his bad luck. He's up to 6, Dorsey. He's moving on up. Peterson trying to overcome his bad luck. We saw him with the spin earlier. You're right on board. This is the very tight section, that 11, 12, 13, 14 complex onto the front straightaway. You talk about support from Toyota.
Well, right there is Don Preston in the red jacket. He built that car. He also builds the engines.
And the man right in front of him is Les Unger, who's the head of Toyota Motorsports in North America. So, yeah, when Toyota brings you support, they definitely bring out the big guns. Right now, a Toyota in the hands of Pete Peterson running 6. You ride on board with him. GT3 action from the SCCA National Championship Runoffs will continue. The GT3 National Championship Runoffs from Heartland Park, Topeka. Colin Jackson continues to lead, 12 seconds in hand now over John Serino, and he's beginning to get to what I would think would be the most dangerous time, Dorsey. He's starting to come through lap traffic in the field.
And lap traffic, of course, can be your friend or your enemy, but with the lead he's got, I think it'd be more of an enemy situation.
Well, he's trying to get past the 91 right now. For more, let's head down to pit lane and Mike Johnson.
Well, I'm down here with Colin's wife, Glenda. Glenda's very nervous. She's got the lap timer in her hand. Just watching the laps go by. How are you feeling right now? More excitement or more nervousness?
Quite nervous, actually.
Well, she's very nervous. She's just so excited, waiting. Her husband won a few years ago, and now they're looking for their second win.
You just saw Colin Jackson go past Steve Spires in the number 91. Spires currently in 13th, so Jackson, he's on a tear, Dorsey.
Yeah, he's got a almost 14-second lead to second place, so he's not got much worry, I don't think.
Now Mike Henderson has gotten past the 76 of Seifert. Henderson in that Mazda won the Southern Pacific division of the SCCA. So we talked about him at the beginning of the show. Obviously a very talented driver. He's won 5 national events this year. And he is trying to move up to see if he can't perhaps get to a podium finish. But the problem is they're about 6 seconds behind Humphreys in the number 73. Dave Humphrey running 3rd right now, has that last podium spot.
And only 2 laps to go. That would be a huge gain to make up in 2 laps.
When it looks like Henderson has gotten by and is beginning to pull out from Seifert a little bit, I wonder if perhaps Mike hasn't burned up his tires a little bit. It just seems that Henderson has the fresher car right now.
You can definitely burn the tires up, considering that when they went out the other day it was so cold. I think everybody probably chose very soft compound tires, and today is the warmest day we've had since we've been here.
Watching Henderson work through lap traffic right now, and it's a good point, Dorsey. It was very cold in the morning. It was very cold over the last couple of days. We've got a bright sunshine right now. The temperature is warming up. It's probably in the 50s, but the track temperature is warming up as well, and if you go too soft,
you can
the tires literally come apart.
Yeah, you can blister the rear tires on these cars if you go with a real soft compound tire and it warms up like this, and they've been driving quite hard, so.
Other thing I just noticed on Seifert, turning in kind of early for some of the corners right now, so perhaps the car isn't working the way he needs it to, and he's having to cheat the corners a little bit.
A little yellow flag in that back. Ooh,
oh, it's a lock up there. Meanwhile, Mike Henderson in the 12, the Mazda, the RX-7, trying to go to the front with that rotary-powered machine, trying to catch up with Humphrey in front of him. We'll see if he cut the gap down any that time. Yeah, it's just about 5 seconds now, so he's reeling him in, but they only have 1 lap to go, so that's not going to work. Colin Jackson saw the white flag.
Seifert and the Toyota really trying hard to get that position back, too. He's running the car. He's running as hard as he can to try to get back at him. Look at that.
I'm thinking that the Toyota may be very strong down in the more tight sections of the racetrack, but that Mazda just seems to have the legs in the straightaways in the higher speed sections, like right here in turn 3.
That's the top ranking Toyota, so that's bragging rights to the boss. So you saw Les Unger, he is the head of all the Toyota racing, and certainly he's paying attention to who's doing what.
That means a lot to these manufacturers. Remember, Seifert is a two-time national champion in class 2000 and 2002. Now, he got a great run on Henderson there, but just not enough.
Had a half a lap to try to find a way around the black car.
Man, he has really closed up through this section of the racetrack. We'll see if he could do anything with it. You can always hook the big fish, reeling him in to something different. He really seemed to lose a lot coming through 7 into the bus stop.
And this is the twistiest part of the racetrack.
Only 2 more corners now for Colin Jackson through the last corner of the crew. His wife standing there with her fingers crossed. Jackson onto the front straightaway. No, not onto the, yes, onto the front straightaway. Here he comes. He's showing you 2. Yes, I have won 2. 2 for 2 at the runoffs. He's batting 1,000. I think I'd quit right now.
It's not a bad idea.
Colin Jackson, what a great run. He won in 2003. Hasn't been back to the national championship since then, but comes back and is victorious yet again.
Here's a battle. Here it goes down the line for 4th place.
John Serino across the line in 2nd. Humphrey in 3rd. The battle for 4th. No, Henderson takes it. Seifert not able to come back. Your top 3, Colin Jackson, John Serino, and then Humphrey in the 73. Dave Humphrey takes the last spot on the podium. Let's get straight down to pit lane and Mike Johnson.
Well, we talk about the manufacturer battle. We saw Les Unger from Toyota. We got the director of motorsports from Nissan right here. A 1, 2, 3. You guys made some great changes over the winter.
That's unbelievable. You know, I would have not expected it because the competition in GT3 is really difficult. I think we got a break with Wolfgang having the issues he had, so it's spectacular for us.
All right, well, you know, even all the big dogs from not only Toyota, Nissan, and some other manufacturers down here to support on this fantastic grassroots racing and such an amazing event.
Well, it's grassroots racing, but it means a lot to the manufacturers. Ron is going to go down and tell Les, hey, you got to buy me dinner tonight, boys. Nissan won this thing. Colin Jackson takes his 2nd national championship and only his 2nd appearance at the runoffs. We'll be back for all the celebrations. The GT3 division of the SCCA National Championships has been decided. The gold medal will go to Colin Jackson. Let's head down to Mike Johnson.
Well, I'm here with the winner, 2 times to the runoffs and 2 victories. Great job.
Well, thanks. I'm just super pleased. I owe it all to my team. Cars built by Special Engineering, and the BM&M Screening Solutions Nissan was just awesome. I tell you, it was just great. The Goodyears did fabulous, and I did flat spot a tire a little bit in qualifying, and I was worried about it, and I did have a bit of a shake there because I think it started locking up a bit more, and so I was managing it. But I see my team, my competition was racing with each other, so I took the opportunity to gap them and then just hold it there, and I tell you, it was fabulous. I just really appreciate SCCA and everything they've done for us, and again, my team, my wife, and here at Special Engineering, my crew chief here, is just, the car was like, it was in another class, really, so appreciate it.
Well, you did an excellent job. Your wife was standing on the pit wall, nervous as hell, and fingers crossed as you came across the line. So great job, and over to my partner, Jim Trado.
And John Serino just taking a quick drink of water. John, what a great run. Colin showed up, and it seems like you had everything in control last year. How'd your race go this year?
Well, we haven't been able to run the car this year, and we went out there, and the car was good in the beginning, but we missed the setup just a little bit. It was loose, and just got worse as the session went on, and then I started losing the clutch. But, Colin ran great. You just got to give it to him. He made no mistakes. He did an awesome job. Kenny and everybody did a super job, and we just didn't quite have enough today.
And you brought the kids with you this time.
Yeah, the kids are here, and they're all around, running around. They were cheering for me. I saw them on the backstretch. So we get one more shot in the F car. We'll give it our best shot. It's fun. We had a great time, and the car worked great, and just missed it just a little bit. We were good. We're happy.
Great run, guys.
Thanks, man.
Well, it's difficult to come to the runoffs when you haven't driven the car all year long. So 2nd place, not bad for John Serino. Great run for Dave Humphrey, and what a great battle there between Mike Henderson and Michael Seifert all the way to the checkered flag.
Of course, Pete Peterson up from 11th to 6th. Good run there after a tough weekend.
Looking back through the field, Steve Spires gave us some great shots as well. They were having a good battle early in the race. And John Mills, we talked about him. Great run for him. He finishes 14th. Not bad at all through the rest of the field. Let's head back down to pit road and Mike Johnson.
All right, our third place finisher, Dave Humphrey. Great job today.
Oh, it was a fun race. Wolfgang got black flagged about the 2nd lap into the race, and it's like, okay, I see the black flag. Why he didn't, I don't know. But it cost me a bit of time out there, but in the end, it worked out good. We came home 3rd. Couldn't be happier.
Couldn't be happier. Great job. All right, back over to Jim.
Mike Anderson finished in the 4th position today, and Mike, it seems like you're still breathing pretty heavy. There was one heck of a last couple laps with the battle with Seifert.
Battle with Seifert was pretty intense. It was getting warmer all the time. It was a great race.
Great job, Mike. Guys.
It was pretty intense. He seems awfully laid back.
Yeah, I think he's worn out is what it is. Nothing left.
Perhaps he is. But for Colin Jackson, plenty energy left. I'm sure he's taking the victory lap. It is such a tradition here at the SCCA National Championship Runoffs. You get to go celebrate your hard work and the hard work of your crew that you've put in all year long. It doesn't always turn out for everybody, as you see Pete Peterson with his problems down in turn 1. But that is what makes the SCCA National Championship Runoffs so great. The GT3 competition today was intense, but Colin Jackson makes it 2 for 2. Congratulations for everybody who made it here to the runoffs. This is what the SCCA is all about. For Dorsey Schrado, Jim Trado, Mike Johnson, I'm Brian Till. We'll see you the next time on Speed.